All right, Bobby, where do you see that most men, especially men in their 40s, are going wrong? Like, what are the biggest mistakes?
One word, three letters. Capital E, capital G, capital O. Say it loud and proud for me, Joe.
Ego.
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 Here is
Yeah.
the fundamental problem. All right. Well, there's a couple of problems. The biggest one is your average 40-year-old man. He's proud and he's out of touch with who he really is in that moment of time. Most 40-year-old guys that I talk to, they used to bench 3 plates in high school. No, you didn't. Let's dispel that myth right now. You used to be the captain of your baseball team. You used to be the captain of your football team. You used to be this. You used to be that. And you're walking around with a memory of who you were when you were 19, 20, or 21. But because you've been gaslit by these alpha influencers, you've been gaslit by this be a man mentality. I'm a wolf. I'm a lion. I'm going to rip the face off of a sheep. You really think sitting there at 41 years old, 42 years old, 48 years old, whatever it is, that you're still that same person you were when you were 20, and you are not like that person in any way, shape, or form. Essentially, you've been sedentary for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's where
I mean,
the
if you're 48 years old and you're comparing yourself to a 20-year-old, that's 28 years difference.
And
that's a big chunk.
Not just 28 years in time. So I'm going to compare myself to these guys for a second.
Right.
My 28 years are different than your 28 years. Not you, Joe, the person listening to this podcast, because I've kept up with my workout regime. I've kept up with my fitness. I never got a desk job. So I behave the same way now, essentially, as I did when I was 20. Your 28 years, you sit 40 hours a week. You sit 50 hours a week. You drink 636 alcoholic beverages a year. You eat Doritos, you drink soda, you have a 30-pound spare tire sitting around your waist, and maybe you're not that far gone, but you certainly don't live like you did when you're 20. And even if you work out 2 or 3 days a week, you're showing up between 30 and 45% of the time. That is not the same activity level you had when you were hitting the gym every day in your 20s, when you were going for a run every day in your 20s, when you were on that football team doing 2-a-days in the 95-degree heat. But you're just not that person anymore. And just that mentality, the ego, the alpha male mentality, that I'm going to wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I'm going to rip every sheep I come across, I'm going to destroy them because I'm the T-Rex. Okay, great. Just that mentality, that's going to set you up for absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you understand how big a mountain you have to climb. I don't think you understand how long this is going to take. I don't think you understand how hard it is going to be. And you decide to finally get fit, and you go way too hard, way too early, doing way too much, and you either get hurt or you quit. And you quit because your feelings are hurt, your pride is hurt, you're humiliated, you're unwilling to ask questions, you're unwilling to be inquisitive. And then on another level with ego, Joe, the 40-year-old man is the absolute worst human alive when it comes to asking for help about something they think they're experts in, right? Like, exactly. I'm not going to listen to this guy. What is this Bobby Maximus guy? You know, screw him. You can't tell me how to do push-up. Okay? Do it your way. Like, this is where there's no shortage of men who think they can fight, think they can work out, and think they can fix stuff around their house.
Well, and I think a big part of it is like this mental attitude. Like you said, this alpha male attitude is like attack everything with anger. Just get angry enough and be stubborn enough and you can achieve anything. And that absolutely doesn't work. And we've learned this and we've preached this for a long time, that doing like really hard work is very humbling. And like the process of learning about your strengths and your weaknesses and being able to go after those weaknesses, even in a physical manner, is very, very humbling. And it's hard to keep choking down that like hard pill to swallow every day you go to the gym and still find motivation.
So I have a funny analogy for this, and I've actually been telling you this, but I got to tell the viewers, right?
Yeah.
So the worst kind of person is your 35, 40, 45-year-old masters Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, purple, blue belt, brown belt. They've been doing it long enough that they think they're tough. They've invested in it. It becomes a real part of their identity. Something happens to a man in his 40s when he goes through a real midlife crisis. Your wife doesn't appreciate you. Your wife doesn't want you. Your job doesn't appreciate you. You're working for the man. You're underappreciated and undervalued. You're probably working a job you hate. Like, let's face it, if you go to Little Max, if I go to Little Hunter and I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're going to get answers like, I want to be a barbarian. I want to be a pirate. I want to be an artist. I want to be an astronaut. Like, I want to deliver the mail. I want to be a dungeon master. Like, whatever the thing is, I want to be a YouTuber. Yeah. And then you wake up at 45 years old and you find yourself as a CPA working for Amazon or working for like whoever, right? Not to single out a certain company, but you're working for in some job, in some line of work that was never a dream. You're miserable. So you start looking for this other thing to go into. And it's like CrossFit, or it's jiu-jitsu, or it's fantasy football, or it's pickleball. And it becomes your whole identity. So this standard Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple or brown belt, they've been showing up 3 days a week for 3 or 4 years. And they really fancy themselves as a tough guy. And I'm saying this as a person that loves Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's a black belt and won a Masters World Championship last year. But these people really fancy themselves as something. And they're kind of bullies. They're really rough on new people. They grind into them. They're unwilling to help. Everything's a fight. Like if I had $1 for every time one of these guys clubbed me in the head and I say, listen, man, I'm going to start going as hard as you are. Like, this is not the way. So, a couple of guys this week have tried this on my 16-year-old. My 16-year-old Joe, you know him. He's been training to fight, and he's worked out since he's 4 years old. He's not your typical 16-year-old. He's like the smoke that you don't want. And these guys who've been coming 3 times a week for 3 or 4 years, he's been going 3 times a day with wrestling for the past 3 years. It's a whole different level of training. And any single training session you want to pull from 22, 23, or 24, he's went harder in one of those sessions than these guys have ever went in their lives. Mm-hmm. And I watched a dude just put his hand into his head and smush him into the mat and be rough on him. My kid got up, picked him up in a double leg, put him 9 feet through the ground, and I watched this 45-year-old guy scream and writhe in pain. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, you picked the wrong dude. He came to me looking for sympathy, and I'm like, that was not the kid to do this to.
You set the tone there, bro.
And that is the male ego. Like, I'm going to take this kid out. With, by the way, no consequence that this kid's dad fought in the UFC multiple times. This kid's dad has probably had him in fighting since he could walk.
Well, like the kid's grown up in a gym, you know?
Yeah.
Like he knows.
Like no concept. But this is where guys get themselves, and by the way, not everyone in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like that. I just want to make that clear. But that attitude, that's the attitude guys bring to fitness. And it just derails their whole program. Because 2 things happen, right? You get hurt, or it's way harder than you anticipated it. And then you're faced with that moment where you either quit because you're caught off guard, or you're humiliated and you can't bring yourself to show up anymore because you don't want to be in a public gym doing things that are hard. You don't want to be seen as weak. You don't want to look over and seen a girl, God forbid, squat more than you or have better form on a lunge, right? This happens when guys pick weights because instead of doing the structural stuff you need to do, like a Turkish get-up or a Bulgarian split squat with no weight, That's embarrassing. You just want to pound a bunch of weight on the bench press so you look good in front of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Gets you in real trouble. I mean, we could stop the podcast there, honestly. Like it really is ego.
Let's redirect all this, like this pent up rage, and get to some actionable stuff. Like, what can people do about it? Where can we help?
Okay. Number one, you are a beginner. Have a beginner's mentality. Stop thinking you're elite. Stop looking for the Tour de France winners interval program. Stop looking at what David Goggins does. Stop looking at what I do. You have to treat yourself like a beginner. And I want you to treat yourself like a beginner for 6 months. For 6 months, I want you to show up every day, and I want you to just focus on the basics. I want you to stick to light weights. I want you to practice. I want you to watch all our YouTube videos, and I want you to learn form. Like, I want you to pretend like you are brand new. Literally treat it like you have to lay some tile and you've never laid tile before, and you're going to watch 40 hours of YouTube videos to try and figure this out. Or you're going to go ask your friend who's done it for help. That's how I want you to treat fitness. That's number one.
Yeah. Let's stop assuming we know everything.
Yep. Number two, you're not worried about goals. You're not worried about weight loss. You're not worried about muscle gain. You're not worried about PRs. Your number one thing, the reason you are so out of shape is because you haven't showed up for yourself. Because you've maybe showed up once or twice a week, if that. All I want you to do is focus on showing up every single day for yourself. You're going to take your calendar. Everyone has a phone. You're going to take your calendar. You're going to gray out an hour a day for you. If you feel good, you can lift weights. If you're sore AF, you can go for a walk or you can go for a swim. But for 6 months, you're going to treat yourself like a beginner. And for 6 months, all I want you to do is show up every single day, even if all you can do is walk on a treadmill.
And I'm going to add too, if you're going on vacation, you can still block out an hour to do something for yourself. Who doesn't like taking a walk on vacation? Go out on the beach for a while. Yep.
Like, it's not that complicated, right? Number three, a big part of your problem is eating. I know you think you can eat like you did in your 20s. I know you think you can drink like you did in your 20s, but you cannot. So for 6 months, no booze, no processed food. But Bobby, drinking's a part of my life. It's part of my social. I don't care. You have to decide what you want right now. Do you want to be fit or do you want to be unfit? And unfortunately, you're not in a position where you have any leeway. You are digging yourself out of a hole. You have had, what did we say, 636 drinks for the past 10 years, every single year. You need to stop. This is different than Jocko Willink going to have a drink, or David Goggins going to have a drink, or a Bobby Maximus going to have a drink, or LeBron James having, well, he can have a glass of wine and he's an elite athlete. He's 40. He plays it.
He was an elite athlete James first.
Did more exercise last Tuesday than you've done in the last 10 years. Let's just be clear about that.
Yeah.
He can have his glass of wine. You are working through from a hole. You can't have any of this stuff. You need to
law of averages. Again, 636 drinks a year for the past 20 years. You can't just cut that number in half. Like you if you want to make the needle move, you got to make the needle move.
You know what? It's kind of like the old, I don't know if I want to call it grass is greener necessarily, but it's like, I don't have enough money. I work too much. Okay, you can't have both those things. You want more money, you've got to work more. Like, you got to pick one. Or the wife who likes the car, likes the vacations, or the husband, right? The husband who likes all those things, but doesn't want to go to work that much or hates that his wife works, or whatever it is. Like, you can't have them both. You got to pick one and you got to be happy with it. Same time, I want to have fun, but I also want to accomplish these goals. Well, you might have to give up fun, or you might have to give up your goals. Or when it comes to some of these extreme exercisers, I almost couldn't say that, but I want to run a marathon. I want to do a powerlifting competition. I want to do a high rocks. Okay, we can't win all these things. You got to pick one. So I get that you want to have fun. You want to have booze. You want to have bad food. But like for the next 6 months, just cut it out. And if you don't want to, that's okay. But then shut up. I don't want to hear you're complaining. I don't want to hear how you're 20 pounds overweight. I don't want you to hear how your wife or your husband won't touch you. Like none of that. You're done. Just accept it and be happy with it or do something about it.
Yeah.
And the fourth thing, I understand that watching Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, sorry, Joe, that you can't relate to that. I understand that watching Jordan Love versus J.J. McCarthy on Monday Night Football, the Battle of Wisconsin and Minnesota, 2 states nobody cares. Sorry, I didn't mean that. But so Joe lives in Minnesota. He's from Wisconsin. There's a running joke here if you're new to the channel. But I get that that's important to you.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's going to be another football game.
Mm-hmm.
I get that season 5 of Stranger Things is about to come out. You want to binge watch a whole season right away. I get it. But you can watch it forever.
Mm-hmm.
I get that you want to be up late watching Fox News or ESPN or YouTube TV or Cobra Kai or whatever you're going to watch. But it's going to be there for you later. Mm-hmm. You need to focus on your sleep. You just need to get to sleep. And a lot of people that say they can't sleep, the reason I bring up those examples, Joe, because they watch sports till late at night, especially if you're in the Eastern time zone.
Oh, but it helps me calm down. Like, yeah, sure. It keeps you awake too.
Yeah. Like I'm lucky because I'm in Mountain Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
So Monday Night Football ends at 9:00.
Yeah.
If you're on the Eastern Seaboard, it's 11, and that's early sometimes. Sometimes it's 11:30 or 12, and then you got to be up at 5 the next day, and then you got to just all these things, Joe. And it's not just a Monday night you're up late. You're up for Sunday Night Football. You're up for Monday Night Football. Tuesday's like an NBA game. It's like this whole thing that happens, and pretty soon you're on 4 to 5 hours sleep a night, so you need to get more sleep. Now, here's the good news, guys. We'll leave you some positivity because I just tore you to shreds. The good news is this process, it isn't easy. Might be the hardest thing you've ever done, but it literally is the simplest thing you've ever done. I promise you are. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever your genetics, whatever type of hole you're in, if for this next 6 months, you ditch processed food and booze, you sleep 8 hours a night, and you just show up and exercise. I mean, hell, wiggle your arms in a circle for an hour every day. I promise you in 6 months, there will be a massive, massive change. And sleep 8 hours a night. You do those things, I 100% guarantee you there will be an absolutely massive change. That's
Give
it.
it a chance.
It's literally,
what if we're lying? I mean, what do you think is going to happen in 6 months? You're going to get more out of shape?
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you. And
just
and
go
you know
all
what's
in.
funny?
Just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't try too hard. Just do what we said. 6 months later, check in with us. See how you're doing.
It's funny you say that, Joe, because it's like in a world, giving up Doritos could be bad for you. Giving up food could be bad for you. Getting more sleep could be bad for you. Actually, again, in 6 months, even if you don't see the progress you think you deserve or think you should have made, I promise you nothing bad's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you will see a massive amount of progress. And that is just a straight fact. So guys, you're not a lion. You're not a T-Rex. You're not a megalodon. You're not a kraken. You're not a wolf. What are they?
Not yet, anyway.
What other predators do people think they are? You're not going to AlphaCon and screaming at people. Guys, just be humble, show up, try hard, and I promise you, great things will happen. If you like this podcast, leave a comment. If you're offended and you got your little feelings hurt, leave a comment. We would absolutely 100% love to hear from you. Subscribe, turn the notifications on, and don't wait. Start today, because yesterday you said tomorrow.